is just beautiful. You never run out of things to do here, do you?
Welcome to Island Influencers, where we share stories of successful business owners, experienced professionals, entrepreneurs and community leaders based or with influence in the Isle of Man. This podcast is brought to you by Thornton Chartered Financial Planners, because great financial planning has the power to change your life. Now here's your host, Chartered Financial Planner Sharon Sutton.
My island influencer today is local osteopath and business owner Sarah Gartland of Follan Natural Health Centre. Sarah went to the British School of Osteopathy in London and was the first Manx woman to ever qualify, returning to the Isle of Man to open her initial clinic on North Quay until 2006 before working at home with her 2 children. So through her encouragement, a second and then third local woman followed in her footsteps, and they came back to the island to help her open and run Follan Natural Health Clinic in 2016, which is the first of a new type of multi-disciplinary health practice based on the Tromode Estate, helping bridge the gap from private healthcare at Nobles into the private sector. So let's meet Sarah. So Sarah, to kick off our conversation, I'd like to go back in time, if that's all right with you. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell me all about your life on the island, where you were born, where you grew up, where you went to school. Let's start there.
Well, I'm Manx.
Ethnic minority,
yeah.
Like myself.
Not my husband, but yes. So I'm Manx. I went to Quay first, Moyes Road, Balcomine, went to university, missed the island very much, so came back again.
Where'd you go to university?
I went to the British School of Osteopathy in central London.
That must have been something different from growing up in Douglas.
What was nice is it was a little community. So I went from a little community into another little community. When I studied, it was back in the late 90s where we were all still witch doctors, so it was private college for me instead of normal university. So there were only 350 students in the uni. So it was another community in a big city.
Can you just define why you just said being a witch doctor, please?
Yeah, so back in the day, osteopaths, we were the bone setters. We were all the nutters that nobody went to unless you were really desperate. Well, Balcomine insisted I had to go and be a doctor. But doctor really isn't for me. I like fixing things. I don't want to prescribe things.
Dr. Christian.
Yeah, no. So, osteopathy was the only way really for me.
Okay, so how did you identify that you wanted to go into healthcare? Let's start there. What was driving you at that point in your life?
So I've always wanted to help people, really. When I was about 8 years old, my dad put his back out. And when you're little, your dad's infallible, isn't he? And I watched mine walk around on a stick for a while.
Gosh.
And the doctors never really told him it was all in his head. Yeah, it was. I just remember it being really hard. And then one night, one of his friends came round and virtually carried my dad to an osteopath. And he walked in an hour later. And the more I looked at it, the more I just thought that was magic. And then my sister had a lot of growth problems as a teenager as well. And again, they were told it was all in the head. She was taken away. I think it was Alder Hay that they took her to. Couldn't find anything wrong. And in the end, in desperation, my dad took her to the same osteopath. And it worked. And the more I kept on looking at it, the more I just thought, I just want to help. I don't want to prescribe things. I want to try and fix things if we can.
So doesn't sound to me like witchcraft. So, when did osteopathy become an accepted profession?
So in 2002, the profession kind of won the argument, which was the year I qualified.
Fortunate.
Yeah, very much so. Otherwise, it would have been a massive period of having to backtrack all of your patients and work it all out from the start as to qualifications.
Right.
So 2002, we became the same status as doctors and dentists across the board, which is great.
Yeah, I think I remember from my days of advising on private medical insurance that all of a sudden osteopathy was acceptable as a treatment, and it wasn't an alternative any longer that you had to get a proper sign-off from your doctor, your
mainstream.
GP. Now mainstream. All right, cool.
Which is brilliant.
So the London school, that is that one of the top-rated ones in the country? Or?
Well, it's the British School. It's now been renamed. It's a university, and it's the only university you can go to in the UK to train as an osteopath. It was the first university. Well, the first qualification you could do in osteopathy in the UK, so it's the longest running one.
Yeah.
And I think it was set up from the guy who trained under the man who developed osteopathy, so Andrew Taylor Still.
Oh, okay. So if somebody wanted to follow in your footsteps and become an osteopath doing osteopathy, what sort of disciplines at school would you advise them to follow?
Science.
Right.
It's chemistry, it's biology, but it's also a lot of communication skills. So if they wanted to do psychology, anything like that, you basically need to like people. You have to be happy to touch people.
Right.
You have to be happy to talk to people, and you have to want to make them better.
So a pretty wide skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well done.
Thanks.
And very good at it, I can vouch for Sarah. Being full disclosure, I've been a long-term patient of yours. Really, it does help. When you finished school in London, did you come straight back to the Isle of Man?
I did, yeah. So I spent most of my holidays when I was studying working in outreach clinics. So I worked with HIV and AIDS patients. I did all my paediatric training. We worked in the homeless clinics, the old age people clinics. Basically, I tried to get as much experience as I could while I was down there, with a view that as soon as I was qualified, I wanted to come back. I missed the island too much.
Yeah.
So I really worked at it through the holidays to get back here with as much experience as I could to help as many people as I could.
Gosh, so you worked with HIV and AIDS patients too. So I suppose what we have just been through and are still coming out of with the COVID pandemic, I guess, would you draw any sort of similarities between those two?
I suppose there's
infections?
There's a clinical risk.
Yeah.
So I think with any patient that you see, you're always making a clinical risk based on anything. From the second they walk through the door, you're looking at, do they look hot? Do they look sweaty? Are they coughing all over you? Yeah, through the years, I've worked a lot with people who are infirm, hepatitis patients, AIDS patients. You risk assessing all the time.
Yeah, it's just comes with the territory, I
Just
suppose.
part of the job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn to take and manage risk, really.
Yeah.
It's something that I think both myself, all healthcare practitioners really would do it. We kind of do it subconsciously in the end.
Yeah. So what did you, when you came back to the island, you started, because you were newly qualified, you must have just started in is that where you started your own clinic?
Yeah, it was. I'd hoped to work with the only other osteopath on the Isle of Man, and that was all working fine until I moved back, and then that didn't really pan out.
Okay.
And normally they would say to try and get some experience working with somebody. Unfortunately, that wasn't going to happen if I was going to stay here, so it was a bit of sink or swim.
Okay.
So I opened a clinic on North Quay back in 2002. Stayed there until I fell pregnant with Christian, my oldest, who's nearly 14, and then we moved it to Empire Terrace, and I wanted to work from home, so then I worked from home for however many years, and then in 2016 we managed to get Follan finally open.
Yeah, so tell us about Follan.
Follan was a bit of a mad idea of mine. I'll always push myself, and I wondered, could I open a health centre and get as many different disciplines into it as I could?
So multi-disciplinary practice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've spent my life referring patients. If I'm not the right person for you, that's fine, let's find out who is. So I wanted to try and get people who I know and trust to work alongside with the one view that it's about the patient, it's not about the practitioner. So I went out to everybody who I knew and knew were brilliant in their field and asked them the question that if I was daft enough to front something, what did they think? And everyone said yes, and it's just brilliant.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, I can vouch for Follan. It's you come to the place in Tromode, and it's it seems to be from all the different disciplines that you've got there. It's pretty impressive, Sarah. Well done.
Thank you. What's been lovely, and I did not expect it to happen, and it's funny, we were talking about it this weekend, because we've got a little bit more NHS coming on board. I didn't think we'd get the NHS lot to work alongside all of us natural healthcare practitioners, but they really are. We're really managing to bridge the gap between NHS and private and get the hospital staff working alongside us, which is just fabulous.
That's great. It sounds like it's a public-private partnership that's how it was designed, or almost destined to go.
Yeah, well, I'd hoped it would. Didn't think it would, but it has done, which is just great.
I suppose if you've got a load of like-minded people and they just want to help people, then doing the right thing it's never wrong to do the right thing, is it?
No, and I suppose that's it. So every person at Follan has been properly vetted by me. The remit was, do I trust you with my kids? Do I trust you? If one of my children was poorly, would I let them go to you? And if I would, then yeah, you're in. And are you driven by patient? Because I think it's never wrong to earn money. However, in my opinion, that's my massive one in work, is that you don't go into clinic for money. You go into a clinic to help a patient, and the byproduct of that would pay your bills, but your primary focus is your patient. And everybody at Follan's all the same ilk, which is just great.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Great, thanks for sharing that. That's
You're
brilliant.
welcome.
So, if you don't mind me asking, and primarily I ask this of people in my role as a financial planner, what's your earliest memory of money? What do you remember about it? First decision you had to make? First experience with it?
As a child or as an adult?
Well, we can go both if you want, but go on, let's do child first.
As a child, I suppose, growing up, to the outset, my family always looked like they were always doing well. My parents always put their money in their house and made us always look very well presented. But I knew on the background that there really wasn't very much there. So I suppose growing up, we learned how to, if you need a pair of shoes, you'll wait till the end of the month. Learn how to save. We were taught to save. We were taught to work. If you want it, work hard, you'll achieve it. We were never really given anything.
Good work ethic. Did your dad run his own business?
Yeah, my dad and my mum did.
Right.
My dad had petrol stations and shops. So from the age of 11, as soon as I hit Balcomine, that's it. I was stacking the shelves 5 nights a week for my pocket money.
That's a pretty strong work ethic there, Sarah.
Oh, yeah, it was. But, I think coronavirus has made me take some time off. Apart from that, I took 6 weeks off to have 2 children. I don't stop working.
No. Of all the things you've done then throughout your life so far, what's given you the most fulfilment? If we first of all go from a personal perspective.
I suppose twofold. I love my work. I love my job. I love getting up every morning and achieving things. That's fabulous. And the 2 kids really do, give me everything. And the puppy.
The new puppy, the one that's been whining occasionally.
The one that's been whining occasionally.
Yeah, we're in the room here, and Nigel, the Dalmatian, is watching us keenly, thinking about lying down. Well done. Yeah, so that's kids. I mean, anybody who's had kids, that's kind of the meaning of life, right there, isn't it?
It is.
Kids,
They're hard. They're hard, and this lockdown, especially for a 13-year-old boy. Mentally, we need to go back. We need to start conversing. We need to go and be a teenager. But they give you so much joy.
Yeah. No, go with that. And what about from a business perspective? What's that?
Follan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. My husband is fab. I suppose in our world, I'm the one who goes out and gets it, and he's the one who holds the fort for me. Follan came about. It's just something I've always wanted. I've always wanted to achieve it. And I said to George 5 years ago, can I open a health centre? And he just said, what do you need me to do?
That's the right answer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So it's allowed me to go out and be that working mum and know that somebody's looking after the children, and he knows the benefit I get from it by able to work with people, refer people, get people better. It's just, every day is just, it's brilliant. I was going to say, somebody said to me, if you can enjoy what you do 2/3 of the time, you're there. And I would say I'm probably 4/5 there.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So
What's a fifth that you don't get?
If you can't quite get it.
Right.
If you can't get it right, or if, like I've seen it time and time again when people come in and they go, don't tell me I need a hip replacement. And you go, oh, that's when it's not enjoyable, when you have to deliver the news that that's going to have to be fixed.
Yeah, okay.
They're the hard bits. The rest of it's great.
Because you're fixing.
Fixing?
Yeah, fixing. Okay. So for any aspiring or existing business owners or organisation leaders, what would be your number one business tip?
I think we can all sit back, can't we, and think, oh, maybe I might like to. I think the only way to achieve things is to do it, is to be that one. Put your head above it, go for it, see what happens. Might work. Mine is doing now. Might not work, but at least you tried.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's a really good one. A compliance consultant I know in the UK, brilliant idea. He said his motto is, if you're not making trouble, you're not making anything.
Perfect.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, for you, during this period, you've had to just completely stop
everything.
Yeah.
How's that been? It was horrendous. There was about a week of tears from everybody. When you're trained to use your hands and you're trained to help and you're trained to heal, the hardest thing in the world is to be told to go home and sit on your hands. It was awful.
Yeah.
We're just starting to backtrack the diaries now, and it's not pretty what we're finding. But give me 3 months, I'll have everybody back where I need them.
Yeah, okay.
But on the flip side, and it has been awful, the time with my kids has been quite nice. I've enjoyed it. I've learned my 8 times table.
Okay.
Got that sorted.
Well done.
Thank you. I've got to grips with my garden. We moved house last year and I really wanted to get to grips with that, and I didn't know when I was going to fit that in. So that's come in. So that's been nice, but I'm so glad to go back to work.
Yeah. What have you learned anything particularly about yourself from this?
I have, actually. Do you know what? 2 things. I've learned it's all right to slow down, because that's not me, as you know. Usually I'm everywhere at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And it's made me realise, and you'll love this one, that you should probably have some savings in this world.
Yeah, funny that.
Sharon shouted at me for that for years, and I've gone, yeah, no, because I can earn, so it's fine. This has made me realise saving might not be a bad plan.
Huh. Who knew? All right, good. Coming out of this, then, all right, taking what you've learned, what are you going to do differently? I mean, don't go down the money thing, but what is it you're going to do differently? Anything particularly?
If I'm honest, I don't think so. The hours I'm having to do at the minute with trying to homeschool the children has made me realise I actually do like my work hours. I think maybe 5 years down the line I might maybe take a day out.
Yeah.
Certainly for the point in our lives we are now, it's made me realise that I love what I do. The timings work really well on what I try and do. But maybe the children don't have to be in clubs all these nights of the week, and we don't have to do everything all at once and achieve everything all at once. It's all right to just wait.
Yeah, okay. Given that you always work so hard all the time, what do you do to relax? How do you keep your life in balance?
I walk my dog.
Okay, yes. Doing lots of that.
Yeah, loads. Yeah, but the legs have been walked off Nigel through lockdown. He's my headspace.
Yeah.
He's the reason we got him. My husband knows. In our world, it kind of goes kids, clinic, dog, him. Which is bad, but it's true. Yeah, when I've had a really tough day or anything, to go and take that dog for a walk is just fabulous.
So for him to be in the doghouse is actually quite a good thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't mind at all.
Moved up the priority list. Cool. So tell me what you think are the best things about living in the Isle of Man.
Isn't it beautiful? Talking to my brothers through lockdown, I've got a baby brother who's in London, and his flat pack's onto the Excel Centre, and another one's in Sheffield. And their walks were just horrendous through this. When you're allowed an hour a day and you've got to go and walk in smoggy, horrible places, it's just beautiful. You never run out of things to do here, do you?
No. So do you think you'll go away less, more in the future, and holidays, things like that?
I don't know. At this point in time, well, we had a niece that was born in Sunderland on May the 1st, and we'd really like to go away and meet her before she's 13, if we can. Apart from that, at the minute, there's no burning desire to go anywhere. We're so lucky. The house we bought last year is just perfect size for us. We've got a great view. We're close to town. The walks are fabulous. Quite excited about the pubs opening again, not going to lie. To be able to walk for a beer sounds like a really nice idea. Apart from that, no, I think we're actually quite centred and settled.
Yeah, good. Okay. And what do you think the main challenges are then that the Isle of Man faces? You know, I guess here, how life might change. But
I don't think the recession's going to be particularly nice at the end of this, is it?
No. Well, I don't know. I suppose it depends on what opportunities, solutions that can come out of that. I mean, that's sort of the other side of the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the challenges? What are the opportunities?
I think there will be opportunities that comes out of it. Businesses are going to have to adapt, aren't they? My concern would be for everybody who's working in offices, if they've now realised that the workload is not what it was, or it's not going to get back to how it's going to be, how many job losses are we going to have? I think Howard Quayle's done a really good job of getting us through it and opening things out as quick as he can. Hopefully that will stop any major economical impacts. Everybody just needs to start supporting local again, don't they?
They do.
In my opinion, keep them borders shut for a long time and let us all just get back to normal, and let's everybody try and support local business. Let's try and get us through it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's part of the answer. Yeah, indeed. So what have you got planned next, Sarah? I suppose it depends on the announcement at 4:00 today, but
yeah, I want to go back to work properly.
But more of a sort of medium term. What do you see for the future for Follan?
So we've got a few new services just about to start, which is great. A few new different people on board. To be honest, this has made me realise actually how well we were working it. I wasn't too sure, and now we're in lockdown to realise actually we had it pretty good. What I've loved has been going back into it all, and I wasn't too sure how the team would all be. If everybody's had 10 weeks at home, were we all going to pull together? Were they going to pull apart? Everybody's been amazing. They've pulled together. And then we realised that, so to get dentists working again, and we've got a dentist who works from Follan, we had to have a defibrillator on site with the new regulations. We never really had one because we're around the corner from the hospital, which I thought would be fine. Turns out no. And I put the call out to everybody, and within 24, 48 hours, we had that money raised for that defibrillator. It's amazing how the team's pulled together. So I'm looking forward to leading that again, just getting everybody back.
Okay.
Let's get them all working as a real team. Let's do some more socialising instead of phone calls when we're all at home.
Yeah. Okay. That's a point well made, Sarah. Good. Okay, so are there any books that you've read recently? I know you've been reading books, haven't you?
Oh, no, I haven't. Do you know?
I thought you said you've been reading books.
So when lockdown started, I'm a terror. I really am. I never give myself time to slow down. If you can't go there a million miles an hour, it wasn't worth going. And when I realised we had to shut Follan down, I said to my husband, right, I've got that book I really want to read, which is a Jojo Moyes Just Daft story. I just like love stories I can lose myself in. And I said, on good weather days, I'm going to garden and I'll achieve. And on bad weather days, I am not going to kick myself. I'm going to sit down and read a book. And at one point, the book moved from the bookcase to the lounge. But the weather's been too nice.
The weather was great.
It was just ace.
Well, the garden looks all the better for it, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, very good. So no books to recommend at this point?
No. And so and I imagine all your listeners would want to know motivational and, I'm a proper lose yourself in a really daft love story type person.
Escapism, I guess, relaxation. Yeah, it works for me. So what's your favourite quote?
Do you know, I don't know if I've got one. I've got a motto, I suppose.
Go on then.
Say yes to everything.
Okay.
I know you're going to kick me for it, but apart from when the children ask for something, in life I say yes to everything and see where we end up.
Yeah, cub leader.
Yeah, cub leader. Yeah, I roped Sharon into that for a good few years. Follan, anybody says, do you want? I go, yes. Anybody says, can you try? I say, yes. For me, if you say no, you close the door.
Yeah, I jest, but we had some great times, didn't we?
did. We did. And it got us to bond with our boys, which...
And camping. Without, a plug-in socket for a hairdryer. I don't know. Yes.
You had a plug-in thing for your air mattress on Cub Camp.
Oh, I did, yeah.
We didn't rough it very well.
Yeah, you were better than I did. I didn't hear I didn't hear them go on to whatever time in the morning because I
had 20 minutes sleep that night.
Yeah, I didn't. I had much more. Well done.
But if you for me, just say yes.
Yeah.
Don't close the door. Where would that door have taken you? As daft as it sounds.
That's a good motto. It's good. It's stood you in good stead, Sarah.
Well, it's got us where we are now. Mm-hmm. Just, I hope nobody comes at me with any massively daft ideas.
Yeah, Sarah will say yes.
Yeah, I will.
So where can people go to learn more all about you and the work you're doing through your organisation, through Follan? Is there a website?
There is a website, follan.co.uk. Rachel also does a really good job manning our Facebook posts and our Facebook page, so that's Follan.
Yeah, we'll reference that in the show notes. Have you got a bio or anything online as part of that? No?
I might do.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me knows I can't make a computer work, so I know we've got a website and I know we've got a Facebook page, but I couldn't tell you what's on any of them.
Okay.
That's above my pay grade, that bit.
Oh, right. Fine. Okay, well,
they will be there, I'm sure.
Let's put the links in the show notes. So, thanks, Sarah, so much for your time on Island Influences. It's been a pleasure interviewing and hearing about your story. And thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Island Influencers from Thornton Chartered Financial Planners. To find out more and for useful links, visit thorntonfs.com/podcasts.